Commercial Diplomat and Director, Corporate and Regulatory Affairs at Olam Agri, Ade Adefeko, joins me now to discuss the economic implications of the MOU signed by both countries. Thank you very much for being here. Would it be correct to describe these ties between Nigeria and Colombia as historic? Mr. Adefeko, if you can hear me, good evening.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. Did you get my question?
Can you take it again, please?
I'm just asking, will it be correct to say the relationship and the ties between Nigeria and Colombia is historic?
Yes, it's historic in the sense that it's one of the very first few South American countries or Latin American countries that established relations with Nigeria in 1979, to be precise, January 1st. So the woman in question, who is the Colombian vice president, is the first Afro-Colombian and the second woman to hold that position. So historic in many respects. Francia Marquez is the vice president of Colombia, and not many people expected her to be appointed to that position. As you know, the Colombians have a very large Afro population of people of black descent. And, I'm sure a lot of people will know Colombia more for the Medellin cartel in Cali. But I think beyond that, some people know them again for football. A lot of you know that we have players who have played for a very long time in Colombian football during the World Cup and all that. Again, another thing, Colombian capital is Bogota. They are very good in coffee. So Colombian coffee is quite popular. As you know, I'm a director of Olam Agri, and we have investments in Colombia. So this is good for us.
Okay, it is good for you, and I'm sure a lot of people in your area of specialty. Talk to us about this MOU that was signed. It was signed in 7 critical sectors. It covered 7 critical sectors. One of them is to boost trade, tourism, security, and agriculture. These are just some of them. What can you tell us about this? Let me see now. The agreement included a bilateral air service agreement. What can you tell us about that?
Well, as for those who are not very familiar with the word BASA, BASA is bilateral service agreement, along the lines of what we signed with Brazil just last week when the president visited, Brasilia. Okay, of course, the one with Brazil was on 2 fronts: cargo with Caboton, and jet services or passenger service with Air Peace. But as you know, Colombia borders Brazil. Brazil is a country that is bordered by 12 countries. 10 out of those countries that border them, Colombia is one of them. And they're looking at having us be a transit, a kind of hub for South America. So, I mean, it's just very instructive that in the last 1 or 2 weeks, Nigeria has been playing host to very serious countries. We're open for business. And of course, our president is the chief marketing officer of the country. So the bilateral air service agreement means that there were 2 things. There will be export of Colombian coffee to Nigeria, and there will be imports from Nigeria of things that the Colombians find very appealing. They're talking about spices, and they're talking about, because you see, like I said at my intro, the Colombians, about 30% of the population is of African descent. Okay, in that axis, you have Colombians of African descent.
Okay, considering Nigeria's efforts to diversify its exports beyond crude oil, how can Colombia's experience in renewable energy and coal production support Nigeria's transition to a more sustainable energy mix?
I didn't get that question properly. I think there's a bit of background noise here. Sorry.
Okay, I will repeat it. Nigeria has been making efforts to diversify its export beyond crude oil. You've talked about other areas. How can Colombia's experience in the area of renewable energy and coal production support Nigeria's transition to a more sustainable energy mix?
the sustainable energy mix is a sine qua non. If you remember back in the day, we used to have the Enugu coal mines. Nigeria too had that history of coal. For those who are, for your international audience, Enugu in Nigeria used to be called the coal city. So there's a lot that can happen. The energy mix now comes with solar, renewable energy, grid energy, and everything working in what you call a holy trinity. So it's important that for us, in the spirit of South-South cooperation, for us to collaborate, for us to cooperate, and for us to coexist. So in that vein, it will be very instructive and very important for some of our power companies, the likes of EGMI and the other ones, to have a kind of bilateral with Colombia. Colombia is a third world country like us. Colombia, like I said, is part of the South-South. Everybody's moving towards what you call the global South. No, everybody's leaving the global North and coming to the global South. We must do business with ourselves. We must have that handshake. We must make sure that we have mutual coexistence, and of course, we must ensure what you call shared prosperity.
Let's talk about the visa processing for diplomats. One of the key things in the MOU was how to make it easier for visa processes for Colombian diplomats. How will this enhance bilateral relationship and facilitate greater exchange between both nations?
What is always very important in diplomacy is what you call a spirit of what you call entente cordiale and what you call camaraderie. What do I speak to here? If Nigeria and Colombia have an agreement which speaks to the fact that visa arrival for Nigerians who want to do business there and vice versa, that will promote trade and tourism. Let me give you an example from Africa. Cameroon is next door; they are Central Africa, but Nigeria has a special relationship with Cameroon that allows Nigerians to go into Cameroon without a visa at all, and vice versa. So those are the kind of things you have to explore. And I'm sure Ambassador Tuga, our Minister of Foreign Affairs, is looking along those lines. So for me, I think in the last 2 or 3 weeks, Nigeria is open for business. I mean, you have had you have had the South American Vice President come to Nigeria. You've had President Tinubu visit the largest country in South America, which is Brazil, population of 161 million people, had their independence 323 years ago. So you can see what I'm speaking to here, that Nigeria is open. There's what you call rapprochement, and I think that can only go well. Speaking to what Nigerians, not many Nigerians you find in Colombia, but of course, 1 in every 4 black men is a Nigerian. That speaks to something.
Talk to us about potential economic benefits Nigeria and Colombia could derive from building capacity and attracting investments in manufacturing, particularly in areas such as textile and machinery, and how much can both countries collaborate to enhance the competitiveness in these sectors?
What you must always take first is that you can only be competitive where you have competitive advantage. If you don't have competitive advantage, you can't be competitive. It's like a lady. It's like a man looking at a lady in the dark. She won't see him. You have to switch on the light or looking for, So Colombia has seen us as very strategic. We're the largest black nation in the world. And for that counts for something. We have human resources. It's not about potential here. It's about the resources that are available all across the world. Everywhere you go in the world, you find a Nigerian doing something, either in the area of technology, either in the area of renewable energy, either in the area of culture and diplomacy. So we're everywhere. We're spread our tentacles far and wide. And I think that it is our time now for us to reclaim our spot as the foremost black nation. So what you are speaking to, ginneries, textiles, cotton, all that will come to fall for garments. There are already garment care factories in Nigeria. In Enugu State, for example, I think the governor there is doing something very big, and 2 or 3 other states that are having that. So what we must do is to make sure that we do not leave this. We should have a binational commissioner that will take care of this and move it forward. What doesn't get measured doesn't get done. And the subnationals too must come in here. Let us not try to do everything. Okay, let's try to do the bit we can and prioritize. So it's a low-hanging fruits are there. Let's plan short-term, medium-term, and long-term. This visit, I think, is a positive testament to South-South cooperation and South-South dialogue. And I think the best is yet to come. And instructive again that in the spirit of camaraderie, like I spoke to, the Vice President of Colombia, who happens to be Afro Colombian, and the second woman, second woman to occupy that position, and the first black woman is very instructive. And of course, Vice President Shettima was a former economist, a former banker. He understands the spirit of trade. So opportunity must meet preparedness, and that's what I think is happening here.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adefeko, for speaking with us.